Did you guys get one of these? I'd like to reconvene the Washington Unified School District Board of Education regular meeting of July 23rd, 2015. If I can ask, how about Charles Castorina to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of action taken in closed session. Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Discipline Dismissal. Release, direction was given. Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Superintendent, information was received. I need to get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Communications and celebrations. Superintendent Luna.
Tonight, I'd like to share a few celebrations in our district. Through the focus on the local control accountability plan and moving our district forward to next levels of success, the district has recently hired staff to support the programs
and work that serves our students and families. I'd like to introduce a few new staff members this evening. I'd like for Yorgos Kanasis to come up, please. Mr. Kanasis comes to us from the California Department of Education as the Public Information Officer for the State Superintendent's Office. Prior to the Department of Education, he worked in multiple positions on behalf of the Office of Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and these positions included constituent affairs, legislative assistant, and on-site management of events on behalf of the governor. Mr. Kanasis is from and currently resides right here in West Sacramento, and we welcome him this evening.
Good evening, board members. Thank you, Superintendent, for the kind intro. I just wanted to briefly convey my excitement and extreme gratitude for taking on this position with Washington Unified. Today was my first day on the job, so it's been a lot of new things, and I had the privilege of meeting a lot of great new people today at the district office, and I hope to meet each of you in the coming months and get to know you, and hopefully we can work together to help raise the awareness out here in West Sacramento and raise the profile of Washington Unified in the community here locally and across the river in the greater Sacramento community as well. Thank you.
Welcome.
Next, I'd like to introduce Renee Collins. I'll ask Ms. Collins to come up. She is the new Director of Career and Technical Education. And Ms. Collins comes to us from Elk Grove Unified School District with many years of successful experience in development of high-quality CTE programs, which ranged from welding to culinary and overseeing adult education programs. She is a respected leader in this field in this region and has developed a number of innovative initiatives and has worked closely with the Los Rios Community College District to define and articulate career pathways, and has supported and developed capstone courses and apprenticeship programs. Ms. Collins has hit the ground running and brings precisely the experience, enthusiasm, and expertise to expand our CTE offerings in our district. One of her first big projects is to shepherd the budding culinary program through the construction of the state-of-the-art facility at the Bright School campus, and we welcome her.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, and thank you, Superintendent Luna, for the introduction. I'm very happy to be with Washington Unified. I did spend the 17 years with Elk Grove, and I'm happy to make this move here. It's the first time that I've ever owned a hard hat and a vest and worn my closed-toed shoes into the project meetings every other Wednesday, so that's been a learning curve, and I have a husband that's in the construction field, so now I know exactly what he's talking about when he says he's going to a project meeting. So that's been really, really good. I'm very excited about the direction that we're taking with career and technical education in this district. The fact that you've created a position such as mine is very visionary of the board. As you know, there's a lot of funding that's coming from the state right now to support career and technical education pathways. And the Bright Campus, we couldn't have gone a better direction, I don't think. I mean, our three biggest employers in the area, NorCal Beverage, Tony's Fine Foods, Raley's, they all hire the largest numbers of individuals in our area, and there are plenty of opportunities for internships and getting introduced to the food and hospitality industry right here in West Sacramento. And beyond that, I've been having fun getting to know the other pathways that we already have in place, engineering design, electronics technology, biomedical science, and so on, that we're doing at the high school, and I just look to grow those programs as well. Have been working very closely with the colleges, both Woodland Community College and right here, Sac City College and ARC. I've also been developing 2 farm to fork courses with 3 teachers from the high school this summer. That's been really good, and those will tie right into our culinary program. So been very, very busy on the ground running, started in April, and I just look forward to seeing where we all go. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to ask our new facilities planning and construction director to stand. It's Mr. Kevin Sanders, and he's in the back there, I think. And you're going to be receiving an update on our facilities and all the construction that's going on, so you'll be hearing from him in a little bit. He comes to us from South San Francisco, where he served as the acting interim bond director. While in South City, Mr. Sanders was in charge of overseeing construction projects over $45 million. The projects consisted of several school renovations that required full charge planning through completion that required successful communication between lots of project team members. So prior to his work in South City, Mr. Sanders was involved in public school construction with both private and public sectors for over 15 years. He's from the Central Valley and is excited to be here as well, and we look forward to his presentation. The second celebration that I'd like to, and yes, thank you. The second celebration I would like to really just announce and just celebrate is our Yolo High School. This past year, Yolo High School was visited by the Accrediting Commission for Schools, which is affiliated with the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, which we know as WASC. And they received its final report in June, and Yolo High School has received a 6-year accreditation status, which is really, really incredible. It's incredible news to have 6 years of accreditation, as it is the maximum length of accreditation status. Now, this represents that the administration and the staff of Yolo High School have worked very hard to achieve this great accomplishment. And so we want to give a shout out to Principal Alejandro Ramos, all the staff, and all the students for their hard work, and it has paid off well and represents our school district well. So thank you very much.
Exciting. I have item J, student and association reports. Superintendent Luna, just to bring you up to par, we've always, for a long time, we had a student from the high school that came and gave us reports of all of our local our local schools and high schools, and I know the board would really like that to happen again. So just put that down for you to do amongst your 500 other things. Or Stan, yeah, delegate. I have item number K, public comments. Before we have public comments, I want to remind everybody that at this time, members of the public may address the board on topics that are under the jurisdiction of the board and are not on the agenda, although the board by law may not take action at this meeting. Education Code 3514535. The board may limit the total time for public input on any topic to 20 minutes unless it chooses to waive the item limit for a particular item. Individual speakers may be limited to 3 minutes to comment on any topic. Public comments consisting of individual charges, complaints, or derogatory remarks about any district employee are requested to be submitted in writing to the administration in accordance with the district's complaint procedure. First, I have Kimmy Gibson.
Good evening, Ms. Cruz. Before you guys start the clock, I don't know if your mic is on or not, but in the back, we can barely hear you.
Okay, thank you.
And then I didn't hear, was item H, the approval of the agenda, done?
Yes.
Okay, because we didn't hear it back there. We just had the announcement of closed session, and then it went
No.
straight to communications. So in that item, was my name removed from O2, or was it not?
That is actually in our consent agenda that we have not reached yet.
Okay.
This was just the agenda items.
Okay, because I was told it was going to be pulled at the beginning. Okay, that's fine.
We haven't gotten to that section.
Okay, and then I have one piece of information, because you're missing a student rep, and you won't get that until school starts. But on behalf of River City, I did want to let you guys know that our very first student ever from River City that went into the Air Force Academy not only graduated, which you guys were all made aware of, but yesterday he left for his first 3 years in Italy. So I just kind of wanted to give you an update that, good things continue to come out of River City, and we all hope Trevor Langford a very safe trip while he's there representing us. And if you want to start it for my own, thank you. I come before the board tonight after being advised in a meeting with Ms. Petchin via Pamela Guyvette that my name is being removed from this evening's agenda. And I would like to know if that is indeed going to be done and at what point of the meeting. It will, okay. I have sent packets to the board prior to tonight's meeting so that they may be abreast of the entire situation of this happening. I am very upset in the matter of which this was handled with the HR department. I have never seen so many errors, miscommunications, misrepresentations, and fabrications of facts since the beginning of my first job at age 14. In the meeting today with Ms. Guyvette and Ms. Petchin, I feel as though I was blackmailed into doing something to cover those errors made by their department. I am asking that this matter be thoroughly investigated, researched, and properly corrected. I will be returning to work on Monday, July 27th as River City High School registrar. I take my job and my job duties very seriously, and if I made a mistake on a student transcript that would keep that student from graduating, not only would it need to be corrected, but that student and his parents would deserve a very large apology. That is exactly what should have happened in that meeting today. As a matter of fact, the meeting should never have even had to have happened since I notified HR of all of their mistakes and gave them the correct information to fix it. Instead of doing so and then moving on, the information was taken, used as they wished, and then ad-libbed to cover errors. I would like to know where in any legal document, contract, or law pertaining to this district and employee contract does it state that the, quote, at the end of business day is when contracts end on June 30th and then they restart at the beginning of a business day, July 1. There is not any. There is something Ms. Petchin made up trying to cover a very large error by her department. She further tried to bury the fact that I was never given the offer of an unpaid leave up until today through, actually yesterday in an email, though she quotes the education code stating that I had exhausted all leaves paid and unpaid. Again, an error, a false statement, or a blatant lie, whichever you'd like to label it. To be really rehabilitating from a stroke and dealing with this after the effects it leaves on a person, this was the last thing I or anyone would need to be put through, all because of someone else's error. Then to state an employee who started the train rolling was new and her first time doing this leaves me to question, again, the entire thing further. Why then, being the head of a department and knowing this was your employee's first time doing these tasks, were you not overseeing it? So again, I am asking this board, based on the information I have provided you or the superintendent, to investigate this matter, and I wish this matter to be redone in the proper manner, as I feel I deserve an apology, not the stress and blackmail I received today in the last 2 weeks from this HR department. And as Ms. Petchin stated today, we're all human. We do all make mistakes. I clearly understand and I respect that statement, but just own up to them and correct them. And I would appreciate a copy of this being placed in tonight's minutes. I've already provided it to Angela. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Castorina.
Hello. Good evening, school board members, and especially Linda Luna. We want to thank you for your first school board meeting, having you here tonight. You have a great council to work with, and we wish you best of luck. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Cheryl Castorina, and I'm the president of LULAC, which is League of United Latin American Citizens, 3204, and I'm here. And here are a couple of things that we've been working on in the community. The city has a settlement in the amount of $2.6 million, which is proposed to be used in the Broderick and Bright areas. 1.5 is dedicated to the Bright Park project. The city wants this money as matching money to apply for a LWCF grant worth $2 million, but the owners, which is the school district, needs to apply for this grant. It would be wonderful if the two entities could work together. Let the school district apply for the grant and the city put the matching money in. Wouldn't this be a perfect time for the two to work together for the betterment of a community? LULAC has fought very hard to upgrade Bright Park in an effort to give our community and youth something to be proud of and utilize. We have also been visiting the schools to see what their needs are and if LULAC can help in some way. This has turned out to be a very rewarding project and getting a much better feeling about the principals and staff and how hard they work and love their students and schools. My husband and I have been fortunate enough to serve on the Oversight Committee for Measure V, and we'll be taking a tour of all the schools on August 1st to see the projects that have already started. I will take pictures and report the progress back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I did, if you notice, we've moved our agenda around just a little bit, and under J, it was student/association report, so I did miss WTA, so if we can have Don Stoffer come up.
Good evening. I hope everybody's having a good summer so far. I want to welcome our new superintendent, Linda Luna, and also our other new folks with whom I've had the chance to at least have a brief conversation with. One thing coming up is that our contract expired June 30, and WTA has presented the contract openers, but we're still waiting for the district, and we'd love to get going on that as soon as we can when we get back in the fall. So I'm just hoping we can get some movement on that. And I'm smiling when I'm saying that. I'd like to thank the board. I didn't have the chance earlier to do this, but I'd like to thank the board for the resolution on Senate Bill 277, which was the vaccine bill. And between the last time I was here and today, that has now been enacted into law, and that's something I think that's really good for our students and good for our schools. And so thank you for the support on that needed legislation. Again, a reminder, our new employee orientation is going to be August 14th. That's a Friday. The schedule shows that the introductions of district staff and the school board will be at 11 a.m. Though if any of you want to come earlier in the day and go on the bus tour or take part in any of the other activities, I want to invite you to those as well. And of course, I'm hoping you will stay after the introductions for lunch with the new teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't see anyone from CSEA here. Is anyone here from CSEA? Okay. Item L, board and superintendent comments. Board member Leland.
Yes, I finally have a committee report on my Up for West Sac, the Universal Preschool Committee that I'm on. That's board appointed. We met July the 15th, and I'm excited to tell the board that we have a community member representation on the Universal Preschool board, and that would be Miss Leah Miller. And I just want to publicly thank her for her service, and it's important to have that community representation on the Up for West Sac board. We also heard some reports on some bridge funding for Universal Preschool, and I also want to thank our Mr. Bill Spalding that came to represent the school district. I know that's a commitment for you to come to one extra meeting, and it's just very nice to have the school district at the table. So thank you, Mr. Spalding, for being there. We heard about a new program called Help Me Grow. That is going to be some funding for 0 to 8-year-old students for additional resources around vision and health services and mental health services. So that's an exciting, I believe it's a federal program. Am I right, Mr. Spalding? So we'll be giving you more information about that, but it's nice that there is some additional funding that's going to come to help, all of our quality preschools. And again, the Universal Preschool Program in West Sacramento is a model program throughout the state. Unfortunately, many of the slots for the free or sliding scale, even preschool, are filled, and their waiting list. And I think one of the refreshing conversations we had that I don't think we've explored is how do we involve the business community, our chamber, in really maybe looking in a more entrepreneurial way to get more people involved in setting up additional preschool sites that would sort of reach maybe not free, but maybe a middle-of-the-road pricing so that parents could afford it. And that was still remains a big issue with preschool, is that our free or reduced preschool fill up, and then and the other slots are full. So we need more in West Sacramento, and we see parents wanting to take advantage of that opportunity for their children with early learning, and we believe it's important. So it's a wonderful partnership with the City of West Sacramento and Washington Unified School District, and we just really appreciate the committee and the efforts that we continue to work toward. I think over the last 10 years, we've seen things really improve with preschool education for West Sacramento youth. So that's my committee report. Dawn, I'm looking forward to the new teacher introduction and luncheon. It's a wonderful event every year to just see some new faces and excitement. There's always a lot of energy in the room, so looking forward to that on the 14th. And of course, the National School Night Out. I'll let some of my other board members address that. Thank you.
Board Member Alcala.
Next week, I'm a member of the Yolo County School Board Association, and one of the leads that we're hoping that the School Board Association will be taking is on high school voter registration. Our own board here passed out 500 voter registrations at our River City graduation, and we also passed out about 100, I believe, at the YOLO. And it's really important that our high school students do become engaged in the civic process. We know we have very low voter registration here in California. And if you don't engage them into this environment of civic engagement at an early age, such as high school, you're not likely to get them back into the voting booth for 29 years. So we're hoping this year, working as a school board, we'll have all our students, all our seniors in high school registered, not just here in West Sacramento, but also in Woodland and Winters and the entire the entire county.
That's it. Thank you. Board Member Kirby Gonzalez.
Thank you. Our 2x2 committee meeting was canceled, so postponed that. Superintendent Luna and I did visit Bright, and we got to see what was going on there, and we had a lovely tour. It looks like some folks just walked off of a job site. It was one of my first times wearing a hard hat as well, and my 4-year-old's wearing it all around the house, probably right now. And it was such an exciting moment from a curriculum standpoint, thinking about what's going to happen in these facilities and the learning that's going to take place. It was also great to see that safety really came first. Every morning on that job site, they have a discussion about safety before they even go to work, and they hadn't had, knock on wood, any problems to that date. So we really went with a solid group. They had apprenticeships that were on site that day, which was just really great to see. So I appreciated that. I had somebody reach out to me from James Marshall Preschool about now that SB 277 has passed, what does that look like for our district? What's happening with the vaccinations? Because they want to mirror that in their preschool. So I think a good recommendation would be, I don't know if we need to change any of our policy up here, but at least that we could put a link to the website for families so that they can see. I'm sure the Department of Ed maybe has a fact sheet. It doesn't really affect people this year, but so they know where we're headed, because that was a question and they were looking and couldn't find that information. And I also wanted to share, I don't think I did last time, but we had a discussion here when Jerry Smith spoke with us about community outreach and about some of the substance abuse and medication abuse. So I wanted to share, if folks have expired prescription medication, that the police department does take that. That's one drop site that you can go to, is the police department. So if we can share that with folks that we know, the more of those we can get out of cabinets that people aren't using, the better. Thank you.
Thank you. And I too have a few things. I was able to visit the Bright campus with Bill Spalding, and I was speechless. I attended that school. My kids attended that school, and there's not much to say other than, where's the bright night, Scott? That community over there has a great history, and to be putting up that culinary school there, I can't think of a better location. So many workers are crammed in such a little spot, and exactly like Board Member Kirby Gonzalez said, and no accidents, knock on wood. Kevin, thank you very much. He provided us hard hats with our names on it and vests, so now we feel important too. I look forward to going out in a few more weeks because daily things are changing out there. Everything's so new, and I know that community's going to love it when it starts also. I know the bus tour was mentioned, I think, by Don Stauffer, and I understand that's a great tour. Sorry, Don. And I don't know if all the board members have had a chance to take that tour, but I understand it gives us a great history of our town, so if you get a chance, be able to take it. I want to give a shout out to our library because our reading program, I understand, has a great program, and I understand it's #1 in Yolo County. So I wanted to get a shout out because of those programs. They, are partnering with our school district and helping our kids learn to read. So kudos to our library. I'm also wanted to let you know that I've been working closely with our new superintendent, Linda Luna, and I don't know if everybody here knows how lucky we are to have her. It has been such a pleasure to work with her. She's only been here a few days, but the list of people she has met with is just out of this world. And so we're just very lucky to have her and really welcome you. And with that, we'll give you your comments.
Thank you so much for those kind words, President Cruz, Board of Trustees, and members of the audience. It is my 16th day of work today, and I just have to say before I give my very brief update, it's been really wonderful, and I am so grateful for this opportunity to be here as your superintendent and be a part of West Sacramento, I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I've been here for a while because it just feels like I just walked in and family, I was just gone for a little bit and now I'm back. It just feels good. And so I am so excited to be here today and sharing our first board meeting together. So I just have a few things that I wanted to do as an update tonight. If I were Twittering right now, my Twitter phrase would be #GreatToBeWUSD. And it really is great to be here. And there are some really wonderful things that are happening in our district, and we're going to really work hard on getting that word out. So probably the first thing in going back is just welcome to our new team members. As we get new team members, that means our students and our staff get more support. And that's what our district is all about, support and services to our kids and to the staff that serve them. Also, another congratulations to Yolo High School on that great work. It really is rare for a school to get a 6-year accreditation. I keep saying that, but it really is rare. And to have our Yolo High School do that is really a great accomplishment this past year, and also the administration and the staff of the previous years in setting that foundation. So there is a lot of work going on right now. Our families are enjoying the summer break. Most of our staff is enjoying the summer break, but we have a lot of staff that are working. And so I just wanted to briefly mention 3 areas that are going on, especially that I've observed in this month of July. So the first area, we're going to hear an update about our summer construction. And it is pretty incredible, all of the work that is going on, and thank you to our community of West Sacramento for supporting that work to be done on our facilities. And so one thing, I drove by Bridgeway Island School, and they are working hard on getting those modular buildings in place. And the second thing is we did tour the Bright CTE campus. I was totally blown away. It is going to be an exciting program for our students with a plethora of opportunities of career development, and I'm just excited for our kids for that. Thirdly, you will notice if you go by Riverbank School that they are re-roofing, and so they're very, very busy at that particular school. And Scott Landsberger drove me around the district and pointed out all of the solar installation projects that are going on in our district as well. There are 5 sites that are receiving that during the summer. So there's a lot of work going on to prepare for the opening of school. And I also want to give a shout out to our maintenance, operations, and transportation departments, because they are working hard through this heat, making sure that our facilities are well kept and up to speed so that when our kids come on campus, when our staff comes on campus, it's ready to go. And so I want to give a shout out to that staff. And they're doing team cleaning. So just know that if you go onto a campus and you may not see the crews there, that's because they're working together as a team at another school site. So they're making their rounds in that manner. So talk about preparing for the start of school. There's lots of things that are going on as well. We talked about the facilities that's going on. We've talked about the hiring of staff. Tonight on the consent agenda, you see that we've hired some new teachers, some new classified staff, and you met the new administration that's been hired. We're working on our enrollment as well. What I know is that when the school doors open and the offices open, we're going to get more kids enrolling, and that's going to be exciting. We're also working on ordering materials to make sure that the resources are there for our teachers and our staff and for our children. And the thing that I'm really excited about, because this is my passion and my love, is preparing for training and staff development. And that's always exciting to work on. And that's what happens in the summer. So there's lots of work going on for our kids and for our staff. So I want to also give a shout out to our district office staff, because a lot of times you don't see them, but they are there every day on a 12-year schedule working. And their school administration has come on campus, even though they're off. They're still coming in like once a day just doing a little bit of work on their own time. School site staff as well. Our MOT we talked about, and our facilities crews. So thank you to everybody who's out there working for our kids. Thank you, President Cruz, for mentioning. I have been meeting with a lot of people, and I have loved every single minute of it. Every single minute. My calendar is very full, and I expect it to be for this first year because I want to go out and meet as many people as possible. I'm here to listen, and we're here to serve. So I want to give a thank you to our community partners. To our City of West Sacramento, I want to thank Mayor Cabalden and our city manager, Martin Tuttle, for meeting with me individually and really giving a beautiful history of the city. And we both have committed to a very positive working relationship on behalf of our students. So I want to thank you for reaching out to me, to the mayor, and to the city manager. I also had a great meeting with the Dean of Education over at UC Davis, as they are a partner with our district. And so we're excited at the many opportunities that UC Davis brings to us in being our neighbor. Also met with Art Pimentel, who is the Dean of the Sacramento City College Center. And that meeting really excited me because that is a huge opportunity for our high school kids. Right there in the middle of West Sacramento, right there, walking distance for our kids. And we are going to work hard together, Art Pimentel and myself and the rest of the district, to get more kids into that center for many pre-college opportunities. This summer, they are preparing for a fall semester course for college prep, and that's going to be available after school so that our kids can be prepared. They can get high school credits, they can get college credits as well. Next year, they're offering a summer academy so that any high school kids, we know we always want things for them to do in the summer, and so next year they're offering a summer academy for kids to sign up, take some college prep work, and also go and visit colleges so that they can see what is out there for them. So there's a lot of things that are going on. And also at Riverbank School, Sac City College Center is working on a Kinders to College program with Riverbank. So we're really excited about these great partnerships. Another partnership that came to me and had a great meeting was about our school gardens. And I wanted to thank Stacy Groh, who's a parent, or will be a parent in our district soon, and has a great passion for school gardens, and also our teacher, our fourth grade teacher over at Westmore Oaks, Barbara Butler. And they both showed me what was going on over at Westmore Oaks and really the potential of great learning for our kids. So I just wanted to show you a few things on this. In January of 2015, over at Westmore Oaks School, volunteers had come to help prepare science learning experiences for our kids through preparing a school garden. And Lowe's donated all of these gardening boxes so that it could get started. And just know that Lowe's does have a program that every school can get, a little piece of a grant that they're always willing to come forward and help schools get started. You'll see quite a change in 2 months. They purchased some They purchased soil to help begin the seedling, and you see kids doing the work there. And that's what matters. That's the exciting part, on hands learning. And then you'll see in May, towards the end of the school year, they're seeing the fruits of their labor. And how wonderful for kids to see the progression of the seedling all the way up to the fruits of their labor. And I also want you to know that it has not been abandoned or forgotten. On Mondays, kids volunteer to come, make sure there's not too many weeds there, and just kind of make sure their gardens are well tended. And I want to thank Scott Landsberger and some of the district staff who is working with other people to help make this a reality over at Stonegate School. We're working with people on that to help get that off the ground, and so we look forward to more of this hands-on learning in science. So in conclusion, I just want to, again, say thank you so much for this great opportunity to serve and to be a part of this great community. I want to express openly that I am fully committed and very focused on one area, and that is communication. I want you to tell me that I'm over-communicating. At that point, then I have done my job. But what our job now for this next coming year particularly, we need to get the good word out. And so we're going to work hard on that, making sure our parents know what's going on, our city knows what's going on, and all of our staff as well. I'm committed to strong collaboration. I am the superintendent, but that doesn't mean that I can do this alone. One person cannot do this. It takes all of us to be able to move an organization forward on behalf of 7,000 children. And so I am not a worker alone. We all have to do this together. You also have my commitment for this, that every student in West Sacramento is college and career ready, so that we don't close any gates or we don't control any gates. What we control are providing all the opportunities for every single student, no matter what background, what race, or what color, that every student is college and career ready when they leave our district. And there's our picture. That's going to be every student. So looking ahead, just a couple of nights to think about. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 4th. We're looking forward to being out in the community, maybe handing out some ice cream, but we're going to be there. And what I would want our community to do, please come up to me, introduce yourself to me. I want to know you and be a part of the community. We are preparing for our Leadership Institute. Our administration's coming back on August 6th, and I'm excited to be a part of that and work with the cabinet as well. We have new teacher orientation, as we've heard, on August 14th, and I'm excited to meet our new teachers and be a part of that whole morning. We have a welcome back day to all of our employees, and I'm excited to serve breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning and meet all of our employees and also just give them a chance to know who I am that morning. Our first day of school for everybody to mark on their calendars is Wednesday, August 19th. And also, whoops, I went back too fast there. Sorry about that. Let me go back one more because this is important. Let's mark on our calendars August 26th, which is our River City High School Back to School Night, and we all want to be there for that, to support our teachers, support our families as they go and learn about all of their classes and expectations for the school year. Hashtag it is great to be WUSD, and together we will make a difference, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I apologize, but there was two other things I forgot. Linda and I have been spending so much time together, I got to get a list. But I wanted to let the board know that Linda was sworn in as a board member of the Lighthouse Charter School. I attended with her, and we attended that first board meeting. And something that some of us may know, a major accomplishment that's happened in our district, which many of you may or may not know, every May we get students that come before us that unfortunately have not passed that CASI test. And unfortunately, they don't get to walk at the graduation. So every May we get a few students. But I am proud to announce tonight that 2 of those students passed their CASI and most importantly, received their diplomas. So that was what was more important to all of us. So I'm really proud of them, and I just wanted to congratulate them. And with that, we'll go into information and discussion items. Number 1, bond sale resolution of general obligation bonds 2014. Measure V, Series 2015, and refunding general obligation bonds 2015 for 1999 Series B and 2004 Series B issuance. Rich Malone.
So good evening, President Cruz, members of the board, and Superintendent Luna. It's nice to meet you. So I'm glad to be here this evening to talk about the tremendous success the district had in selling its general obligation bonds, Measure V, as well as refinancing the Measure R and Measure Q bonds. Lori Ranieri, our firm's president, wanted to be here. Unfortunately, she has a conflict, so she's at another board meeting this evening. And then Stacy Frericks of our firm, who you've seen a couple of board meetings as well, she unfortunately left our firm and is now the executive director of the Davis Art Center, so a little change in career for her. And so as a result, I get to be here, so it's my pleasure to be here. I guess one thing unfortunate is I did not bring hard copies of the presentation, and so I know Scott Landsberger said he will email those out to you, but obviously you have them as part of your, on the video screen so you can see it there. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. Okay, so agenda, again, going to talk about the sale process and the results for the selling the Measure V bonds, as well as refinancing the Measure R and Measure Q bonds. Quickly review the updated bond portfolio, which I believe you've seen before. And finally, just summarize what the impact of these good results is for the district as well as district taxpayers. Okay, and then I do speak quickly, so if you too quickly, just stop me and I'll slow down. I get excited about this stuff. This is what I live for. So, okay. So bond sale process. We divided the bond sale into two components. One for the Measure V bonds, and a second series of bonds for the refunding bonds. And so as a result, we accepted bids because the bonds are being sold competitively via bid. We accepted bids for the refunding bonds at 8:05 on June 18th. And then later that morning, we accepted bids for the new money issue Measure V bonds. We use an internet bidding platform to accept bids. I think years ago, we used to receive paper, like via letter, in the mail, courier bids. Very exciting. You get them all in a room, and you open them all up, and you see which one's the best. Then we had the faxes, and now, like everything else, we're moving to the internet. It takes a lot of the drama out of it, unfortunately. The bids come up on a screen, you hit refresh, and 1 second there's no bids, next second they're all there, and that's it. But in any event, so we use this bidding platform to accept the bids. Via this bidding platform, they also notify underwriters who are going to be bidding that the sale will be occurring. They provide the information to the underwriters that they need to assess the credit of the district. So they provide the preliminary official statement, which I believe you saw in your board packet when you approved the issue. That is information about the bond sale. They see bid specifications, so what the parameters are for bidding, what the purchase contract looks like, and then if they do want to fax in a bid, which no one does anymore, a fax bid form. And then we also make sure that this information about the sale is posted in our major trade newspaper, the Bond Buyer. We also make sure that the bid parameters are as flexible as possible. We want to encourage as many bidders as possible to structure the bonds in the way that they think is going to provide the interest with the lowest interest rates possible. And through this process, we want to make sure we have maximum competition for the bonds, which will lead to the best results for the district. Okay, so I guess heading into the sale on June 18th, market conditions were a bit worrisome. This chart shows the municipal bond buyer index, 20-year bond buyer index. That's the blue line. Since 2001, when the Measure R bonds were first sold, those Measure R bonds sold in 2001 the index was about a little more than 5%. In general, over time, that index has gone down over the past 14 years, enabled us to sell refunding bonds in 2010 when the index was about a little more than 4%, in 2012 when the index was below 4% at 3.8%, and so basically trending down with some spikes. However, in the past 3 months, we've seen that index rise about 0.25% in the 3 months leading up to the sale. And so with that headwind, that was a condition heading into the sale. Now, that being said, we had excellent results, bid results for the district. On the left-hand side of this chart, you'll see the bid results for the refunding bonds, and the right-hand side the bid results for the Measure V new money bonds. A couple of things to point out or of note. On the refunding bonds, it was about $5.9 million worth of bonds. Citigroup Global Markets was the winning bidder at a 2.08% interest rate. Now, from my perspective, 2.08%, that's really low. So interest rates are low right now, as I mentioned, on the grand scheme of things, even though they've trended upward recently. Their bid was approximately $80,000 better than that fourth place bid. And so it just shows you the different perspectives that underwriters had when placing a bid in for the district's bonds. For the new money issue, about $24.9 million or $24.9 million worth of bonds were sold. Bank of America Merrill Lynch was the winning bidder at about a 3.82% interest rate. That rate is higher than their funding bonds, primarily because they have a longer term. Their funding bonds matured in 2024, the final maturity, so a 9-year term. The new money bonds, Measure V bonds, matured in 2040 at a 25-year term. In general, longer term, a higher interest rate. That's why we saw higher interest rates for that issue. For the Measure V bonds, that first place bid was almost $500,000 better than the last place bid. And again, it's a big differential there in the bidding. So we're very happy with the results. A couple interesting notes. Citigroup, the winning bidder on the refunding bonds, came in fourth place on the Measure V bonds. Almost $300,000 worse than the winning bid. And then Bank of America Merrill Lynch, the winner of the Measure V bonds, didn't even bid on the refunding bonds. And so that just goes to show that the smaller size, the refunding bonds are smaller size. They're sold mainly to retail investors, and so different underwriters have placed a different value on being able to sell those bonds to retail investors. The larger bonds, the $24.9 million bonds, were sold to institutional investors most likely. It's a larger issue. And so different underwriters specialize in selling to institutions. We see different bidders and different results. And so it really brings to point the value of competition and why it's best to go in a competitive environment. You make sure your bonds are sold to the right underwriter, given their size and given their term. So we're very happy with those results. Okay. Let's see. This is basically when the district sells the bonds, they sell the bonds as a whole to an underwriter. However, the underwriter sells the bonds to investors maturity by maturity. And so for their funding bonds, there's a maturity of bonds in 2016, a maturity in 2017, all the way through 2024. What this chart shows is the different interest rates that the underwriters bid on the refunding bonds for the refunding bonds. The green box is the interest rate that Citi bid. You can see their bid is lower for every maturity on the refunding bonds. And that's why they were the winning bidder overall. They had the lowest by every maturity. They were then the lowest bid overall. For the new money bonds, you can see in this case, Bank of America is the green box. They're the winning bidder. They are the lowest interest rate for most of the maturities, but you can see they're not for all of the maturities. And so there were underwriters who thought they could sell these bonds to the public for lower interest rates for some of the maturities, but on the whole, Bank of America Merrill Lynch had the best bid when you're looking at all the bonds in aggregate. Okay. Switching gears a little bit, cost of issuance for selling the bonds came in significantly lower than we budgeted. For the Measure V bonds, we had estimated cost of issuance to be about $150,000. Actual costs came in at $80,000. It's a savings of $70,000 in costs. As a result, that means there's $70,000 more for projects because we were able to lower those costs. For their funding bonds, we'd estimated $100,000 in costs. Came in slightly less than that, about $300 less. And so those savings go to taxpayers. And you can see the combined savings as well. And so again, one of our roles as financial advisor is to make sure that we're keeping the cost of issuing these bonds as low as possible because that benefits the district and district taxpayers, and we were able to do that in this case. Okay. So talking about tax savings, or taxpayer savings for taxpayers, this chart shows debt service that's due on the Measure R bonds. A little bit complicated. I'm not going to take the time to go in and explain every little box. But basically, there's a sliver in dark blue at the top of the box, which represents the savings that taxpayers are achieving by refinancing the Measure R bonds. Those savings total about $173,000, or on a net present value basis, about $154,000. And so that's money that taxpayers otherwise would have paid to investors outside of the community. Now the money stays in the community in our taxpayers' hands.
Can I ask a quick question while
Sure.
I'm there? Is that lower than the initial, which first of all, it's fabulous, we want to save
Yep.
money,
Yep.
but is that lower than the first projection? I had a projection that was initially presented to us that was around 296,000, so I'm just wondering if this was less than we had thought going in.
And so I don't have the initial projections. I do have the projections that were provided in April. And we projected $245,000 of savings total and $220,000 in net present value savings. And so we didn't achieve those levels, in part because the rates have risen since we provided that presentation.
Okay.
And so that's why, yeah. Okay. And then for the Measure Q, a similar chart for Measure Q, showing the debt service on those bonds. And again, there's a sliver in the middle there that represents the savings we achieved from refinancing. Those savings totaled $123,000, or $114,000 on a net present value basis. That's almost equal to the savings that was provided or estimated in the April board meeting. And that the reason why those savings were about the same and Measure R was different was because interest rates didn't rise uniformly across the yield curve at 25 basis points. They rose more in the front end and less in the middle. And because the Measure R bonds had a shorter maturity, we see less savings there because they were more impacted by the rise, where the Measure Q bonds were less impacted by that rise in rates. Okay. And again, I could talk about this for days, so I'm going to try and move on here. So those present value savings were in line with GFOA guidelines. As you might recall, the Government Finance Officers Association has a set of guidelines that they recommend when to proceed with refinancing. They recommend proceeding with refinancings if the savings are net present value savings are at least 3 to 5% of the par amount being refunded. In this case, the Measure R savings were about 4.5% of the par amount being refunded, and the Measure Q savings about 3.9% of the par amount being refunded. So certainly within that threshold to proceed with refinancing. So we had set a minimum threshold to proceed with 3%. Both of these were above that minimum threshold. And I'd say there was some concern with the rising interest rates that we weren't going to be able to achieve that threshold, and so we were very happy with the results on sale day. That we were able to achieve that threshold and save the taxpayers those dollars. Okay. In terms of tax levy savings, what that means for a tax rate, the Measure R, well, this chart shows actual tax rates on a per $100,000 basis through 2014-15, and then projected through 2015-16 and beyond. And then there's, again, a small sliver in the projected tax rates that represents the savings. Those savings on average total about 28 cents per $100,000 of assessed valuation. Okay. And then a comparable chart for Measure Q. The dark bars representing historical tax rates, the lighter green bars representing projected tax rates, and then the sliver at the top of the bars representing the tax rate savings from refinancing. Again, the average savings about 32 cents per $100,000 of assessed valuation. And we do like to remind people that 32 cents over $100,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money, but in aggregate for the district, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars at savings for the district taxpayers. So, okay, and then just a little humor. I'll see if I can deliver this well. I know Lori's much better at these jokes than I am. So John says, we can't do anything about the past, but we can do something about the future. Garfield thinks, sounds like a lot of effort to me. I like the future just the way it's going to be. And so, unfortunately, the district is not like Garfield. We took action here. We made the future different for our taxpayers by making the effort, taking the time to refinance these bonds and achieve savings for taxpayers. And so, kudos to the district for making that effort and not letting things just be as they are. Okay. Then switching gears to Measure V. This chart shows the projected facilities dollars available from Measure V. We had originally projected in the light blue bars issuing Measure V in 3 series. One series in 2015, a second in 2017, and a third in 2019, and netting about $15 million for projects in 2015. As a result of an increase in assessed valuation in the district, as well as good interest rates, we were able to adjust this plan and change this to issuing 2 series of bonds, one in 2015 and a second in 2017. With our results we've had with the sale, receiving $24.8 million for projects in 2015, and the balance coming in 2017. And so we're getting more money for projects in aggregate, and we're getting it sooner. Now we're doing this while also reducing projected debt service. This chart shows debt service. The dashed line is the projected levels of debt service pre-election when we went to the voters to ask them to approve the bonds. I don't know, somebody pick a color. I don't know, that's the yellow. I have like 7 colors that I know, so this is going to fall in the yellow category. So the yellow 2015 is the actual debt service for the Series 2015 bonds. And then the lighter green is the projected debt service from the 2017 bonds right now. In total, our projected debt service is lower now than it was when we had the election. And also the projected debt service ends 2 years sooner now because we're only selling 2 series of bonds rather than 3. And so we're projected to have a much lower debt service, much lower burden on taxpayers than we went to the voters for approval. And in terms of tax rates, that means that projected tax rates are lower as well. The dark dashed line represents the $60 maximum that we're allowed to project for Prop 39 general obligation bonds. Now, the district chose to have a lower, or went to the voters with a lower estimated maximum tax rate. That was $39 per bond. Right now, with our 2 series and with the good results in the first series of bonds, we're projecting tax rates from Measure V to top out at no more than $37 per $100,000 of AV, and again, to be shortened by 2 years. So a big success for taxpayers. And then, this next slide basically summarizes what I just walked through. We're now projected to get $48.8 million for facilities expenditures through Measure V versus the $47.7 pre-election. We're getting $24.8 million for projects now versus $15 million projected in 2015. We project to have all cash available for Measure V by 2017 versus the 2019 originally projected. And our tax rates are projected to be less than $37 per $100,000 of AV for two less years. So we have more funds for facilities, more quickly, with lower tax rates and levied for less years. Okay, this chart is the district's updated bond portfolio, which I believe you've been walked through before. I know I can't read the numbers up there, but hopefully you can see them on your screen, and you will have the presentation. I think that the takeaways are through refinancing, we were able to lower the debt service to principal ratio of the Measure R bonds from 2.03 to 1.97. We were able to lower the debt service to principal ratio of the Measure Q bonds from 2.13 to 2.05. And then the debt service to principal ratio for the Measure V bonds right now is 2.13. As a reminder, a law was enacted recently that we can't issue bonds that have a debt service to principal ratio of more than 4 to 1. We're well away from that regulation. I mean, this is a very good result. It's a very economical way to borrow money. These low ratios show that. That's why it's a success. Okay, so then just quickly in summary, through these successful bond sales, we're able to lower debt service on measures R, Q, and V, lower tax rates, fewer years of taxation, more funds for facilities, and we get to start those projects earlier, which I know they're underway right now. So it's a good thing we have the money. Okay, questions?
Any questions? Board Member Lee?
Well, I couldn't read a couple of the last ones, but I know you're going to send
Yes.
Handouts.
Yep.
When you send the handouts, are they going to be an individual? Is it going to be not in a PDF? Or if we wanted to send, in particular, I was looking at the assessed value and how that's lowered. It went from 39 and what we
For the
kept
tax
saying
rates.
when we were, campaigning for Measure V, we kept saying 39 and it's lowered to 36. I think that would be some really great information. I know in particular when I presented to the Chamber of Commerce, they were really concerned about that assessed value, and it'd be fun to kind of tease out a couple of these slides. They may not want to get, the whole package, but some of this information is really important for our business community and our community at large to see. And so I just like to see it in individual, instead of a PDF file. I don't know how you send the document.
And so we do send the presentation as a PDF. I think what I'd be willing to we'd be happy to work with the district to either put together a press release or provide information in a different format that might be more appropriate to hand out to the community.
Yeah,
and so we can certainly work with you on that.
I think it would be great because we really had a lot of discussion, I know in particular, about assessed value, not to mention the fact that, what's the total savings, like $250,000. So I just think that is so important to get that out and not just kind of have our eyes glazed over all these numbers.
What?
Done a really
Eyes
great
glazed
job.
over? What? What? Oh.
No, I'm not saying I do that.
Okay, I understand. Yes, of course, yes.
But it'd be nice to see some of that close up and, being able to separate some of the pages. Okay.
So we'll work with, I guess, Scott Landsberger then to
A
put
press
some
release
materials.
is great.
Yep.
That makes it even easier.
Yep.
So thank you very much. It's
Okay.
always nice to hear good news.
Yes, it is. It's always nice to give me good news, so thank you.
I wanted to share too, I was out walking the dogs and had a neighbor who was very critical when we were campaigning to pass this bond. And I said, let me send you the update. And I sent the April very long, extensive PowerPoint to somebody who does love those numbers. And somebody who was so critical wrote back, wow, this is really great. I'm so glad. So we can go back and win some of those people over. And that last page I really like. That's easy to read, easy to digest, and then almost if we could have that last page first, and then they could, if they want to go and find more information, they can. So for our staff, what I would like to see is I looked on our Measure B page on the district, and I couldn't find when our the committee, it looked like the last minutes they still hadn't decided when they were going to meet again, although it sounds like they have. So just I think for us, our Measure V page on the district website needs to be updated, and if we could put this PowerPoint on it, a press release I think is perfect, but if this PowerPoint was there, then even though it's buried for the public to find, we can easily link it and tell people when they should go there. So thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Information item number 2, the facility program update, the Bright Career Technical Education Campus, update number 3, Ridgeway Island 6 to 8 expansion, update number 3, solar power phase number 3, update number 2, district office renovation, update number 2, establish and implement the capital investment program for sustainable initiatives / facility improvements. Mr. Kevin Sanders.
Thank you very much. I'd first like to thank President Cruz, the board members, cabinet, and Ms. Luna for having me. I've come into a phenomenal district. There are some great things happening here with our bond program and district. Coming in the summer, I have stumbled across a gold mine with Mr. Landsberg, and we just have so many projects and so many things going on. So kind of jumping in, I would like to go ahead and show you some of the projects we have going on. There's 4 that I would like to kind of go through tonight. So first, there again, I'd like to thank you guys for Measure V and putting it on. We do have signs at all the sites that we have placed out there as well, and I'd like to thank the community for the ability to put on Measure V. These are some of the signs you will see as you drive through the district and campuses and so forth. This is a short video. President Cruz, Ms. Gonzalez, and Linda Luna has been out to the site. I hope to give some tours to the other board members. But when we refer to fast activity, fast-paced construction, I think this video here says it best. Oops. So that was the culinary wing that you see there. We have had as many as 90 contractors on the facility at one time during the day. Coming from the Bay Area, this is phenomenal for a small district to get this kind of support from our contractors and moving things forward. It's amazing to see. Moving on. The 3 Measure V projects that I have I'd like to talk about, one you just saw a short video on is the Culinary Arts Project at Bright, the Bridgeway Island K68 expansion, and the District Modernization Roofing Project as well. With that, we do have some solar that's continuing that Ms. Luna had indicated earlier at the various campuses, Bright, Westfield, Charter, YOLO, District Office, and Elkhorn. So with Bright, we have the modernization of the existing campus facility, the administration office. Some of the key things I wanted to point out that everybody can look at is we are upgrading these existing classrooms or current conditions to standards. Some of those are, these new buildings and wings will no longer have hazardous materials in them. They are completely free 100% in these new areas. We have ADA upgrades going on the site. We have the solar going on. So see, these are huge, huge feats, I think, especially when it comes to just passing Measure V and getting some of these projects out there and moving forward. The start of construction was May 15th, 2015. We are anticipating completion August 15th, 2015, with the Phase 1 budget of $10 million. This is our tour on 7/10 that we had. We had a few visitors out there, and as you can see, this is the culinary wing, and as you can see the sheetrock going in, you can see the ductwork. There's just many trades that are stacked on top of each other as we're working through. In the background is called a moment frame. I'm sure you guys have heard the term. And what this does is this opens the room up and it allows the ability not only for staff to see from one side to the next, but it really opens this area up and giving us space to work. To your left is a fume hood, which is in the culinary wing that's going in. To your right, there again, you see the trades on top of one another. You have the FRP paneling on the walls. You have the T-bar grids going down. A couple familiar faces there, Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, hands on the hips.
And here's the classrooms. The picture on the left is a photo that was taken on 7/10, and the picture on the right is 7/16. So it's moving so progressively fast. It is daily activity change. Definitely would love to take a tour if you guys have an opportunity at some time. This is the exterior of the culinary wing. You can see the ADA upgrades that are going on, the site upgrades there as well. This is the front of the MPR in the kitchen. To your left, photo on 710. To the right, photo on, again, 716. You can see the paneling going on, the ADA pathways, significant upgrades. To your left, again, 710. To the right, 716. Just seeing the basic shell on your left, and obviously the sheetrock on the right. Things moving forward. Same thing here again. This is the front new vehicular drop-off outside of the school, where students will be picked up and dropped off. So significant change in this area. Solar array. You have your new solar array that's going in here. You have your ADA pathways, as you can see, going in. The photo to your left, the truncated domes showing our new ADA upgrades. And then to your right is the location of the new solar. These photos are a few outdated. I'm sure if you go out to the site, you will see that we've already started footings and foundations for the solar array as well. Last but not least is the administration building. I think that's Miss Luna there on the left.
Yeah.
Kevin Conahay with Swinnerton, showing you our new admin building. The hard lid ceiling tiles are going in. You see the door frames there. Like I said, just a massive project with continued amount of work going on here. And as was mentioned, my thunder was stolen earlier.
Sorry.
That's okay. The contractor is very safety conscious, has not had any safety issues on the project. This was a safety luncheon, a little team building exercise that we had out there, kind of showing the mass quantity of contractors that are out there at one time. Moving on, Bridgeway Island. With the Bridgeway Island project, if you haven't had an opportunity to go by, it is a one modular building. It has 4 classrooms, 3 which are classrooms, 1 which is a science wing. The construction schedule was June 6th as a start. We are expecting completion August 12th. As far as I know, there's no delays on that. Things are moving very well. The budget for the modular is $1.5 million, which is on track. The fire alarm is $4 million, which is also on track as well. Jumping into a few photos, this is as you come into the playground. You can see a little bit of the modular building there on the right, with the playground on the left. This is a sewer work that we're doing out front. There was some existing sewer conditions as well as putting the new building in. So we went ahead and took care of those issues while we're there on site doing the modular work as well. As you can see, mass production. Summer is moving quick. You can see the chicken scratch or stucco as it goes on the outside, just moving forward very rapidly at this point. This is a typical interior of one of the classrooms at Bridgeway. If you look to your right, like I said, you'll see the sheetrock going, the drywall going in. You'll see the ductwork, the insulation. You'll also notice the dual pane windows on your left, the electrical panel upgrades on the left-hand side as well. District Office Administration. We have a couple things going on here. The purpose of District Office is we are going to be working on the 2 northern wings. The intent is to completely rid those facilities of hazardous materials. With that is new roofing on the district that's going to be going on as well, new interior lighting, new finishes. We are anticipating construction to be January through April of 2016. The anticipated roofing construction budget at this point is $1.5 million, and the district administration building is $3.5 million. I don't have any slides as we are just kind of getting into this project as well. Moving on to the solar. Solar is the last of the ones I'm going to show you tonight, which was passed by the board October 14th. You have 3 components. You have the photovoltaic, you have the parking lights, the upgrades, and you also have the sprinkler and irrigation valve upgrades. So there's a couple components to the solar array. The sites are listed below that I went over earlier. The construction budget is 5.6. Most of these have just kicked off, with several of them intended to be done before the start of school. The first one here, this is, like I said, a few days old. This is day 1 at Elkhorn, showing some of the foundations for the solar arrays that are going to be going in. As you can see in the back left-hand side, that's the conduit, the underground conduit that will be going in for the solar arrays as well. There again, some grading work over at Elkhorn. And last but not least, district office. We have started that as well. We've removed the community garden, have cleared the way for the solar array on that side as well. Questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Wait a minute, we have some comments.
Oh, okay.
First of all, it's just very exciting, and it's so fun to drive around and watch the process. It's very exciting, and I know families are excited. I know families at Bridgeway are excited to go back and have this space, and that's really reassured the community there who've been anxious about overflow and things like that. So that's been really good for them. But once again, can we get this on the website, and then it will be so easy to link, and then
Absolutely.
we can get it on the, which is separate from the district, but there's a Measure B Facebook page where I know they want to update it. So we just really need to keep people informed, because we all know all this great stuff, but let's get it on the website so we can share
Absolutely.
it.
Scott's passed that on to me, and I'll be getting it up shortly.
Good, thank you.
Anything else?
Really at a loss from words. I mean, all of this is beautiful. It's nice to see all the money that we approved being put to good use. You came on just at the right time to help us get things pushed along. I think we have the right people working there at Bright. Things are moving along. I know we're going to talk about the lovely board out front.
Absolutely.
But I don't know what to say. Everybody, you get a chance to go by. I know that the crew at Bright, very welcoming, very nice people there, and they are working so hard to get it done.
They are putting in great efforts, as you can tell. I mean, they are there. We're up to 7 days a week. I mean, these guys are putting in the time, working.
And I think they're there till 10 o'clock at night.
Yes, they are.
told me,
Yes.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for leading this project, and I'll work with the superintendent's office to see when I can go by and put my own hard hat on.
Love to take you for a tour. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 3, presentation of draft board resolution for local hiring / pre-apprenticeships on construction projects. This is a board discussion, but I do have a public comment. Is it Kyle Swarns?
Good evening, board members. My name is Kyle Swarns. Just want to thank you for the opportunity to address you about this issue. I am here to speak about the apprenticeship program. We are an approved joint apprenticeship program managed by both workers and employers. I would like to address the importance of our apprenticeship in our community and county, state, and the economic well-being of our membership. Our apprenticeship has been called the other four-year degree and referred to the University of Carpentry. The apprenticeship brings many good things into the lives of the participants besides good wages and benefits. First, the knowledge. The apprentices are trained how to safely perform jobs, tasks, in the safest and most productive possible means. Second would be the experience. The opportunity to put the classroom lessons into applications on the jobs while working for the various contractors who participate in the program and gain real working knowledge while building houses to high-rises, schools to bridges. Third would be the certification. At the end of the four-year program, upon completion, participants receive certifications from the school, the state of journeyman status, along with the journeyman card, a pocket diploma, if you will. The card is recognized everywhere in the United States as a committed to excellence and drive to succeed. It will open doors for opportunities anywhere in the U.S. Sounds like a four-year degree, because yes, it is. Our other term is Carpenters University, and the Northern California JATC is one of the best. Please continue to give your support and opportunity for the best. I am here on the behalf of members in your community, people that have gone through the apprenticeship, people that are currently going through the apprenticeship, and I have family members that go to your guys' schools. So I'm here speaking on their behalf and would like to thank you on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Are these some of the people that are with you?
Yes, these are the members right here.
They stand up.
Can you stand and be recognized? Thank you so much. I'm sorry we kept you, but thank you. Superintendent Luna, did you have any comments on this? This is a board discussion, and as you know, in the past, we had a resolution, and we are revisiting that, and this is just a board discussion tonight. I wanted to bring to the board's attention that myself, Board Member Kirby Gonzalez, Superintendent Luna, and Assistant Superintendent Scott Landsberg with Mr. Pat Gunn, we had a wonderful phone conversation the other day, and I think this is an ongoing conversation we're going to have. There's so much to learn about apprenticeships. We talked with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards people, and it was nice to find out that other schools are visiting the pre-apprenticeship programs and the way they are deciding to go. And as well as talking to other school districts, I know we want to make sure our resolution is in compliance and that we recognize all of our pre-apprenticeships locally and our apprenticeships. And most importantly, I think to all of us here is to offer the best opportunities to our students and our community. So I wanted this on the agenda. I want to continuously hear from our community and all the other trades that look to have apprenticeships with us. So did you have some comments?
So our resolution, which had JATC language, expired, but it did so by default, not because of board intent or board direction. We had a unanimous vote up here for that resolution, and we do have one new board member who is not here to take that vote, but who publicly in board meetings has spoken in favor. I'm not going to take your words, but so I just want to be very clear that it has been board direction. I see this as two parts. I see one is a good partnership for our kids, for our students, and for us to have a partnership where we have students. This is a little separate from the resolution. This has been an MOU we've had, but that they can get into through our pre-apprenticeship program with NCCT, which we're so lucky to have NCCT, because as a district to have that partnership, we're not liable to go out and get the teacher and the curriculum. NCC's taking care of that for us, and it's been a really good program for our students, for our community, for adults that need to go back and get some training skills. And so we're so fortunate to have that, and NCCT dovetails well with carpenter's trade, but my understanding is that possibly that curriculum could work with other trades as well. But we don't want to lose that relationship. That's good for our kids, knowing that we have direct entry, and I love that there's a focus as well, that we would have a woman, one, I believe out of, but I love that because it's important, and these are good jobs for folks. We are committed to being college career ready. Well, for career ready, we need to step up and we need to have these relationships to really stand by what we're doing. So I see that as a huge focus and an important piece. The resolution and the way that this reads as a draft, I feel that this is really state minimum anyways. There's really no point to pass a resolution if it's state minimum, that you would have apprentices that are, approved by the State of California Division of Apprenticeship Standards, because that's the law. So this resolution isn't what our board intent was, and I wouldn't be supportive of a resolution that did not have more specific language, which is our right to have. So looking at this then, stepping away from our kids in a resolution that we're going to be committed in the pre-qual process, that we're going to make sure when there's a high enough threshold, of course, that we have a lot of local folks that are small companies, and we don't want to leave them out when there's a smaller job. But when we're looking at big jobs, I feel that we need to be working with folks who are going to be providing a good work environment for their employees. And I think it's our obligation as a school district and to invest in people. We have a big unemployment rate here in West Sacramento, and I think this is important for us. So what I would encourage the board to look at, if we do change our resolution, since this is certainly not the language that we had initially approved. If we are going to be changing any language and not going with the original, what I would recommend is that we go with Yolo County and what they have voted to approve. And Yolo County's wording says that public works projects will be required to participate in joint labor management apprenticeship programs. And they do have a threshold there as well. So it needs to meet a certain amount of money. But once it does, that is their language. So my recommendation to the board is if we do change our language, that we change it to mirror Yolo County.
Any comments? Board Member Leland?
Well, I want to thank Board Member Kirby Gonzalez. I think she succinctly said exactly at least where my intent was, and that I do believe that as a community college administrator in some of the colleges that we have in our district, we have and working with Los Rios, I know we have apprentice programs with our projects, and I would love to see apprenticeships move from, you have this construction degree, so to speak, from your apprenticeship program, but we've seen them, students move then to wanting to become general contractors, or go into engineering, or go into architecture. And so I like to see, that movement, if it's right for the student. And you're giving them that first exposure by being able to be, on a site and have that professional training. And so, again, my intent is to see students that are interested and find a passion in any of the trades to be able to experiment and work in that environment. And then, if they wish to join us at the community college level and move on, and then on to other careers in construction, those are the kind of opportunities that I think are important. But again, the Yolo County apprenticeship agreement, I think that meets our intent and what we would like to see be provided in our continuing building projects. So I appreciate you bringing that forward, Board Member Kirby Gonzalez, and we look forward to continuing our partnerships with NCTT and just having this experience for students at a site, and finding their passion in the building and trade industry.
Board Member Kirby Gonzalez, I just had a question. That the language you use from Yolo County, is that pre-qualification language, or is it actual a resolution that they passed?
That's a good question. Let's see, I'm holding right. This is from their board meeting that was January 27th, 2015. It is pre-qual language, but let me recommended action, receive an update, provide direction to staff regarding potential addition of apprenticeship requirements to bidding documents. So it looks like it's going into their pre-qual, not necessarily a resolution. It looks like they changed their pre-qualification process.
Was it just a discussion?
And I can give this to staff.
Wasn't it just a discussion with 3 options or something?
They voted on it as well, and it passed.
And when did they vote on it?
Here's a newspaper article. This is from January 28th. So this was the very next day. And it says contractors bidding on major county projects will be required to participate in joint labor management apprenticeship programs under a plan approved by county supervisors on Tuesday.
So
and
it's not a resolution, it's just in their pre-qualification.
Might be their pre-qualification, which could be a way then we could go, is having that language instead of a resolution.
I just want to make sure everybody understands that
yeah.
We've been working on a resolution.
Perfect.
We had a resolution, and Yolo County does not have a resolution. They just have it in their pre-qualification language.
Yeah, implement a requirement, all bidders on public works, yes, it looks like it is in there. And which would get us to the same goal.
I do have a question. What about Sacramento? Have we looked at any of their language on apprenticeships? Well, maybe we can look at some of that also.
Okay. To clarify, Joint Labor Management Apprenticeship Program and JATC are interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
Any more comments?
So we're either gonna, it sounds like we're not gonna move forward with another resolution. That doesn't need to happen, but that we would change a policy
And
for
I think-
pre-qualification.
And I think in talking with Scott and Superintendent Luna, and just so I make sure I understand this right, if we change the pre-qual, Mr. Landsberg, was it something you needed to bring before the board so we can ratify?
That is correct.
Okay.
President Cruz, I think what we would look at for the next board meeting is to look at language for a project labor agreement and a pre-qual to go together in order to achieve and accomplish what the board's interests are at this point.
Okay.
Sounds great.
That sounds very
Sounds good.
satisfactory.
Thank you. Item N, action items. There are no action items tonight. We are to item O, consent agenda.
President Cruz, the district requests that amendment be made on the consent agenda. If I can bring your attention to item O2, under approved classified human resources recommendations, the district requests that the position of student records secretary be removed from the cessation of services list. We recommend that the position be removed from the list prior to the board's approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Any other comments? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda with the amendments to item number O2?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Let's see. Item number P, board governance. One thing we did talk about already was National Night Out. I assume everything's in play. What the board intends to do is ride along in a bus and go around and hit the sites and pass out some ice cream and meet the community and be part of the community. And hopefully we can start a new trend here. I also wanted to mention that the full board met in July. Was it July? Beginning of July? We had a board governance workshop in which COSCA assisted us. And COSCA is the group that assisted us in selecting our new superintendent. So they oversaw the workshop, and they presented us with a survey on what we thought our roles and our relationships would be with the superintendent and other departments in the district. And so we individually filled those out on our own, and then we came together during the board workshop to find out what the true answers were. We didn't get through it all. It was a great workshop. It is continued until September. It was interesting to find out what we thought some of our roles were and some of the district roles, and it's bringing us all together as a stronger team. And I think I'm excited because it's going to give us an exciting new year. And the workshops are public, so we hope you guys can come out. We missed Dawn last time. But that's kind of where we've been going on the governance. So we're working on it. Does anyone else have any comments on our workshops or anything? Future governance?
I'm looking forward to, finishing the conversation. I thought it was great, and, it's been through many of these on my term as a board member, and I thought this was probably one of the most fruitful and really felt very team-centered, and that we were all working together. And so I'm really excited about that. I did have a couple of questions about the National Night Out, so if you want to revisit that.
Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Just, are we going to be meeting at a certain place to launch our night, or do we have any specifics? I know I have 4 cases of popcorn donated that I can bring with me. That, what is it, Chick-a-Boom, the healthy
Is it already
popcorn.
popped?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was like, how are we gonna pop it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought the kids would like that.
Sure.
It's healthy and it's, doesn't melt, so don't worry about that piece. But I just wanted to know if we were gonna be meeting at a certain place, or if that's something you'll just follow up in an email with us.
I'm not sure if Angela set that up, and I know I've had emails with Scott, and have we confirmed the bus? We've confirmed the bus, and I think we're gonna go out 6 to 8, maybe if we can meet at the district office and start there. If you go on the city's website, they have all the stops
Right,
along the
I
way.
had those.
I know it had been brought up that maybe we piggyback with the city, and I kinda didn't wanna do that
Kinda
because they only hit 3 or 4 sites, and I'd like to hit the other 3 or 4 sites, just so the whole community is, involved. So, we are gonna look at those sites. I think we're gonna, how many sites did we decide we were gonna stop
Well,
on?
they have it split up in 3 sections, and so they asked which section they'd like to tour. They want to tour all 3 sections.
Yeah, I think we decided two sites in each section, meaning north, middle, and south, I guess.
So 6 sites.
Yeah.
And,
Between 6 and 8
okay. And we might meet up here like at 5:30?
at the district office at
And
5:30.
if we have any of those supplies, just bring those.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring
those
some
by.
ice cream and some Otter Pops, and Sarah's still working.
Do you need more Otter Pops?
Yeah. So, are there any, is this an opportunity, and maybe we could address our new communications person, but, if we're out in the community, are there any flyers or communications cards, anything that you might want us to work for you and get the information out? We're all gonna be out there, we're gonna be meeting with a lot of folks in the community, so if you had something that you wanted to send along, I think that would be great.
Definitely something we can work on.
Yeah,
I can talk with the superintendent a little bit more detail
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And definitely photos,
yeah. And so I just thought that'd be a great opportunity, and maybe not recreating the wheel, maybe there's something already printed and completed, but that we could just be able to hand out. I think it would be great, and hopefully help us staff get the word out about a certain timing with when school starts, or the upcoming, school openings and parent nights and things like that, dates, I don't know.
Or maybe we had talked about meet and greets with Superintendent Luna. Maybe that would be the time to let people know. Since this is really just a quick hi, wave, maybe there will be a formal time and place. I'm just thinking that's something that people have asked about.
Save the date or something like that.
Save the date.
Just anything
Little
like
postcard or
that we
something.
can hand to people, I think would be a efficient way to get out information.
We will definitely work on that and have something in hand for all of us. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay.
And my ongoing question is, how are those T-shirts coming?
Well, be sure to get your shirt size.
You're running out of time.
Well, we think that the polos would be really great. Ordering t-shirts and polos. We'll work on that.
Yeah, I've actually requested in our T-shirts, because I think it's a good beginning for all employees to be able to wear a school district T-shirt or a polo shirt. I think polo shirts, we would be able to get them more on staff with polo shirts. I think staff would prefer to wear that. And we will also have T-shirts available. I think we should have both. And I think we need to get that pride in our district. When we wear our polo shirts or our district T-shirts, we walk around our community with pride, and that's why we wear them. So we're working on them so that we can get a lot, a good order for a good price, and we're working hard to get them for National Night Out.
Thank you. Any more board governance discussion?
No, thank you for clarifying.
Future board agenda items, we have the graduation policy. I want that on there because, as I said earlier, we get students that come, in May, and it's hard for us to change that policy at that time. So I hope we can, and I know we will revisit it in the fall. There is a bill on the assembly floor that may suspend the CASI test, and it's my hopes that they do follow through with that, and we would not have to really address our policy at that time. It would be moot, but I want to keep this on our radar, and if that bill doesn't go through, we will visit that in the fall. Is there any other?
Oh, just a quick question. Do you know who's carrying that bill?
I don't
You
know
said
who's
they don't.
carrying it. I know Torkelson did the last
Torkelson?
update. Yeah, if you Google it, you can
Okay.
see Torkelson's. I can't remember when it was. Was it June? No, was it in June? I think it was in June. Yeah. But
I'd have to look into it, but I know it's winding its way through the legislature,
Yeah. Okay.
and has a good deal of support from the state superintendent.
right. Okay, if there's nothing else, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.